Sims, and we are back with more Hakuoki Ito Blossoms in Harada's route. And in the last part, we pretty much got laid. I can't even fucking believe that. I still can't believe that. I'm still like, wow. Although, I'm not even gonna lie, it makes the achievement that you unlock after getting the good ending even fucking funnier. Really does. I'm gonna save that because we're probably gonna get to the end in this part, so you'll see it. But it's fucking hilarious, and it cracks me up every time I see it because I've seen it like a couple times now when I look at the guide, and I'm always like, that's funny. And it made me wonder, and then that happened, and I'm like, okay, that makes it funnier. So anyway, we bid our emotional farewell to Nagakura, and parting ways with him and the people of Utsunomiya. With that, Sanosuke and I packed our belongings and traveled down the mountainous path back to Ito. After a few hours of walking, I inhaled deeply and taking in the crisp mountain air, and Sanosuke suddenly turned to face me. Spacey, how's your body doing? Should we take a break soon? Wow, are you that good? I don't even want to know. Huh? What do you mean by my body? Well, you know, you didn't get much sleep last night. Wow. Yeah, you keep bringing that up. I'm still embarrassed. Thanks. I had to read all that, and it was a little, and now it's just, whoo. Anyway. His casual mention of the previous night sparked a vivid memory that I hadn't anticipated discussing. Let's not discuss it with words. You know what? Let's not discuss it at all. I don't want to read that. I sheepishly averted my eyes away from him. Well, my cheeks felt as though they were on fire. I'm just so excited that we got laid in one of these routes, but, like, I'm disappointed that we didn't in the 6 other ones we went through. Come on. It took us till this point to get kissed, for fuck's sake, and now this is what we could have had all along? I'm glad we didn't do his route first. Because if we had, I would have been disappointed at every other one after it. Anyway, I was hot from my face to the back of my ears, which made me even more nervous if Sanosuke were to notice. I kept my gaze firmly fixed on my feet. I'm fine. But are you okay, Sanosuke? Well, compared to you, I've got stamina for days. Wow. I know it's just because you're a warrior, but, that just sounds dirty. That's because my mind's in the gutter since that last part. My mind has always been in the gutter, okay? Yeah. Pennywise has got nothing on me living in the sewers. No, my motherfucking shit'll be like, I'll drag you further down, bitch, because I live way further down than you do. Like... my mind is that filthy. But, anyway... That's not what I meant. Also, damn. Like, look at the look on his face. You're like, yeah. Wow. You naughty little minx. I had to think carefully about how to phrase the concerns I had in my initial question. Although Sanosuke had assured me that he was truly content with leaving for Ito with me, Nagakura's memory would linger with him forever, and it couldn't have been easy to tell someone with whom you spent most of your life goodbye. It was a delicate situation, and I wanted to make sure that, in discussing it, I hadn't upset Sanosuke by suggesting that I was questioning his sincerity. Alright then, in that case, let's keep going. Spacey, just let me know whenever you need to catch your breath, okay? I will, thank you. Continuing down the paved road, I watched the glow of sunset slip away into the distant horizon. I guess we got no choice but to camp out tonight. Sanosuke plopped his things down and started preparing a spot on the ground to build a bonfire. Wow, they actually put a bonfire in there. We usually just sleep in the dark. Sorry, kid. I thought we'd hit an inn or something by the evening. I'm terrible at planning ahead. Oh, not at all. I apologize for walking so slowly. I'll go ahead and get some sleep. I'll watch the fire. Oh, I don't mind watching the fire. It's all good. Just listen to me, would ya? If you get even a few hours sleep, then tomorrow will be a breeze. Yeah, and we're not going to do it on the dirty ground. That's going to pine needles up my back. Gross. Leaves stuck in my butt. I'm not a camping person, obviously. This is really roughing it. Sanosuke's voice was gruff, and he tossed some wood pieces sitting nearby into the open flame. It amazed me that even after hours of mundane walking, he could still be so considerate of me. It's because he's a sweetheart. Literally, he's a big ball of sugar. His insistence almost made me feel guilty for refusing the first time. All right then, I'll take you up on your offer. Good night, Sanosuke. I rested my head against the root of a nearby tree, nestling atop the soft grass, and shut my eyes. Oh my god, you should put your head in his lap. All of the soreness in my body seemed to melt away, and I dozed off immediately into a pleasant slumber. He should be holding you. That would have been cuter. We could have had such a beautiful thing. In the comfort of my mind, I began to dream. Uh-oh.
Spacey, are you feeling any better? I've prepared some porridge for you, so eat up.
Father, I can't stop coughing.
It appears as though you've contracted the mumps. If we monitor your fever, it should pass soon.
Ah, that's right. Father cared for me dutifully, especially when I had grown ill from the mumps when I was younger. Even 5 or 6 years later, when I was first practicing my handwriting, Father took the time to invest himself in whatever it was I was doing. How old were you when you caught the mumps? That you'd be like 5 or 6 years later learning to write.
Spacey, what did you learn today in class?
Some history about Edo and Chinese calligraphy. I'm gonna talk like a kid because I'm assuming we're a kid. My teacher says that we don't need to study calligraphy though, and that we should all start learning Dutch studies soon.
Actually, they say Dutch studies are obsolete.
Or well, my colleagues tell me. Colleagues, your fellow student. It's weird, colleagues, calling your fellow students colleagues. The studies gathered in Great Britain and France are far more comprehensive. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. That was supposed to be him. That makes more sense. I was like, wow, that's something really that I can't even imagine a child saying. That's because it was supposed to be him.
From what my colleagues tell me, the studies gathered in Great Britain and France are far more comprehensive.
Really? Wow. Times sure are changing. Again, why would a kid say that?
Spacey.
Yes? What is it?
Well, have you started to take an interest in anyone yet?
What do you mean by that? Okay, I'm assuming then she's got to be older, like closer to teens.
Well, you're getting to be the age when young women begin thinking about these sorts of things.
Okay, so she's got to be like, young women start to think about these things. Oh God, but this got to be before he left, because I was thinking she was a kid, like 5 or 6 years later, learning to write. You're only learning to write when you're like in your tweens, like, what are you, like 12, 13? Starting to look at boy, like, I don't know. I was so behind in this shit. Okay, like I don't know. Everyone else is like, oh my God, he's so cute. I have a crush. Yeah, me too. I never did. I didn't. Not the same way most people did. I don't know. I think I went along with it. It'd be like being in the closet. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, guys are hot, and you're actually into girls. But it was more like I just didn't quite understand. Like, my best friend was always like, oh my God, he's hot, yeah, and always having like sexual fantasies and shit. And I'm like, what? Like, no. I think half the people I had crushes on, like, when I was younger, was literally just, like, almost like a peer pressure thing. Like, yeah, no, he's cute, sure. Actually, I think the real people I had crushes on were people that I was friends with, that I actually, like, bonded with. It was never, like, I don't know. Now, though, still the same way. I just like looking at pretty things. And I'll be like, he's pretty. But, like, no interest whatsoever. I could literally be in the swarm of these actual beautiful men, like real men like this, and I'd be like, you're all so pretty. Yeah. I'm going to say inappropriate things, but like really, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I just want to look at you. I just want to look and be like, yeah, and say inappropriate things. I don't actually give a fuck. So I don't know. What? And this is also back in the day, so like, like, oh, yeah, I'm interested in this, but good, we'll marry you off. But I'm 13. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the times were like then, so. Anyway. Okay. What do you mean by these sorts of things?
Well,
My father had shifted uncomfortably, gulping discreetly to clear his throat. His silence told me all that I needed to know. He had suggested that if I were to ever fall in love with a man, he would want to know. Revisiting the memory of this time inside of my dream was peculiar and bittersweet all at once. I used to be carefree, unbound to anything or anyone. Father, as I had known him for my entire life, was nothing but gentle and loving. But now I was tasked with the responsibility of taking his life and ending his cruel, salacious past. A plot.
Wait. You know what the funny thing is? I just want to know if you're interested in any boys in your class so I can have them killed because I'm going to sell you to a demon lord.
Father, the memory of his smile, warm and jovial, was fading slowly, replaced with the sinister grin I saw in Kofu. I reached my hand out, hoping to touch his familiar face before it vanished into the haze. Just then, Spacey! Spacey, are you okay? My sleep was interrupted by the sensation of being violently shaken, and suddenly my eyes shot open. Sanosuke? My entire neck and back were dripping with cold sweat. Are you okay? You started groaning in your sleep. Did you have a nightmare? Oh, was I saying anything? Like, did I talk in my sleep? Sanosuke bit his lip, turning his face in another direction. His gaze was fixed on the orange flame, flickering lightly through the darkness beside us. Yeah, you were. You wouldn't stop saying father over and over. As soon as Sanosuke confirmed it, I was flung back into the dream from which I just awoke. Did I really stand any chance of stopping father? His life was in my hands, and when the time came, I wasn't sure if I was ready to make that decision. Spacey, are you okay? Are you ready for this? Ready? Sanosuke's question touched precisely upon what worried me the most. It was like he was a mind reader. You're never ready, okay? You're never. Never. I I just. Never gonna be ready for this. Like, doesn't matter how evil your father is. He's your father. You are never gonna be. I'm totally ready to kill the bastard. I just. Unless he's always been an asshole, always treated you like shit, and you're like, no, I'm ready for this. But like, she has good memories. He actually was kind and treated her nicely, and then now he's a psycho. But even if you're like, we have to kill him to stop him from destroying the world, you're never actually going to be legitimately, yeah, I'm 100% ready. You're like, I mean, we gotta do it, but I'm never gonna be ready for this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was sure that his question hadn't only referred to dealing with my father, but I had to ask myself if I had gotten in over my head, or if perhaps I misplaced my trust in Sanosuke by expecting him to accept this undertaking with me. No, don't misplace. You did not misplace your trust in him. Shut up, girl. Smack. Shut the fuck up. What are you doing? At least, I hope so. I told him that I'm still doubtful. To be honest, I still have my doubts. I decided to be candid about my feelings. As in, what choices I've made, and everything we left behind to get to this position. I'm not sure there'll ever come a day where I don't pine about the way things used to be, or for the company of the people we love. It's like you said last night, Sanosuke. Hold on. I sneeze. Sorry. Every decision has its consequences, and there's nothing we can do to stop worrying about them. I dwell on the thought of what Sanosuke might have had to sacrifice to join me on this journey. It was likely that I could never repay a debt of this magnitude back to him, which was crushing to me. Our bonfire crackled in the background, filling the space of our awkward silence. But there's no turning back now, no matter how much I may want to. Time and time again, I've gone back and forth with myself, fighting the anxious thoughts in my mind, whenever tough decisions needed to be made. Except for one decision, which was I chose Sanosuke, of all people, as the one who would hold my fragile heart. After another moment of silence, Sanosuke spoke. Oh, guess you and I are in a similar spot. Then he gently rested his hand upon my shoulders. I gasped, staring back at his alluring gaze, and my heart tightened to my chest. He touches her, and she's like, you touched me. You fucked him last night, honey. Jesus. He tenderly grazed the side of my cheek, tracing a line underneath my chin before tilting my head upwards. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you shouldn't just be shocked at us. I mean, it's not saying you can't be like, oh, like, enraptured with his touch, but, like, it's just funny that you gasp like you're shocked by him touching you. Really? Do you not remember what happened? I remember what happened. I froze, and she's also awkward. He's gonna kiss me. He did worse to you. Well, he did a lot better to you last night. Sanosuke's beautiful amber eyes were gazing at me, the light of the bonfire twinkling inside of them. They radiated with confidence and strength. Uncertainty glowed inside of them as well. All of his fears, his anxieties, his weaknesses. Spacey, close your eyes. Huh? Oh, He whispered urgently, and I shut my eyes as he had instructed. You don't want me to look at you when you kiss me? I mean, it's weird to keep your eyes open, but my heartbeat sped up to the pace of a gallop. Please, CG. All I could feel was the warm tingle of Sanosuke's fingers against my pale face. I've been here before. I know what comes next. Oh, yeah. The space between our lips closing. The warmth. How could I ever forget?
Yeah! Yes!
I love it when we get extra kissy CGs. It makes me feel better. I suddenly felt his moist lips press against mine. Something about this kiss was different to our first, where Sanosuke's brazenness got the better of me. Also, this is not now even your second, because he should have kissed you the other night when you were doing other things, but nor was it similar to the second time we had kissed, which was an intimate moment born from the ashes of our eager, desperate hearts. And also did more than kiss, but this kiss, however, felt like something new, a token of comfort during an emotionally trying time. It was gentle and hushed. Our lips were tenderly cupped together like sand guarded in the palm of our hands. That's a weird analogy to make. And careful not to let any grains slip from under our delicate embrace. Neither of us seemed willing to part from the other, as if we were holding on to the one thing giving us life. So adorable. Or at least, so I felt. What other words could describe this feeling? Even as my heart seemed ready to burst from out of my chest, as my cheeks seemed determined to light a blaze, I felt a placid calm take hold of me. One time she doesn't look derpy because her eyes are closed. Sanosuke pulled back slightly for a brief moment, taking in a little breath with a calm smile. As our eyes met, he kissed me once more. This kiss was completely different. It was passionate, like he had put all of himself behind it. Sanosuke bit my lower lip, nibbling on it as he pushed his tongue further and further into my mouth. The lip biting thing, I fucking love that. Just you had to write that in there. It's like, make me swoon more. I instinctively grabbed his chest and pulled him in. I gave in to these natural feelings, listening to the bonfire crackle as our bodies wrapped around each other with vigor. Again? Jesus. There's not even anything like, keep it in your pants. Can you, this is not a good place for this. The kissing is fine, but anything else, not the place for it. Sanosuke's hands traveled my body like an atlas, landing upon my shoulders with a tight squeeze. After a moment, we pulled our faces apart. Just love this. Jeez, I'm so goddamn self-centered. Sanosuke's eyes beamed confidently as he spoke. Huh? Earlier, I was a nervous wreck, and now I'm completely calm. It's kind of strange. When I tried committing seppuku in Io, I failed, which led me to believe I lost the only chance I had at an honorable death. I had to leave my domain. But after meeting Shinpachi, Kondo, and everyone else back in Edo, thinking about our arrival in Kyoto, how we formed the Shinsengumi to make a name for ourselves, I'm starting to feel like all of that was building up to this very moment. Oh, see, now you make me feel bad when I love somebody else, because it's like, oh. Hearing Sanosuke speak so candidly about his true feelings made the hairs stand over my entire body. It's okay. There's a parallel universe where we're with all of them. Not, I mean, there's 12 parallel universes is what I'm saying. Or with each one of them in a parallel universe, so it's cool. I, too, couldn't help but feel fate brought us together. How I originally arrived in Kyoto in search of father. How I came to reside under the custody of the Shinsengumi. All of it had a purpose, which was introducing me to Sanosuke so that the two of us could spend our lives together until the day we die. It felt like we had discovered a revelation, as if the universe conspired to bring us together in some sort of divine miracle. Aww. I've always longed for a relationship built upon an unbreakable bond of love and trust, one that's tough enough to weather life's inevitable storms. But even the longest married couples in the world have their battles. It takes time. People doubt one another, but they stand firm. Every conversation is a chance to learn something about your partner, but more importantly, yourself. Maybe, just maybe, that's the key to a long-lasting marriage between a husband and wife. Right. Just as we've done so many times in the past, although there are times where our insecurities get the better of us, when everything seems pointless, no matter what, I can rely on Sanosuke and his support. Having him beside me makes me a stronger woman. Whatever trepidations I burdened myself with in the past, he gave me the confidence to take them on. I was sure of it. Our hearts were becoming forged as one. The steel of our love was being tempered under the heat of our extraordinary journey in this troubling time, giving us the bond Sanosuke always wished for. Best of all, we created it together. Oh, that's so beautiful. It's like it should be the end, but it's not. We still have to battle. June 1868. What was it before May? I don't remember. Um, June 1868. By a stroke of luck, Sanosuke and I managed to avoid any detection from the Imperial Army troops passing the North Senju Sekisho and returned to Ito. But there. Spacey, let's hide. Okay. Sanosuke and I ducked low to the ground, eyeing a trimmed bush to the left of us and darting behind it. From a hidden view, we watched a group of armed men clad in Western uniforms passing through the street. Once they'd marched out of sight, we slowly crawled from behind the bush back onto the main road. God damn them! It hasn't even been a month since Ito Castle issued their surrender. It's like I was blurring castle. Yeah, okay. Castle issued. And those Imperial sons of bitches strutting around Ito like they own the place. What should we do? First things first, we gotta find out where Koto and the Furies are hiding, or else we're sitting ducks out here. Right, but since Sanosuke, too, had been dressed in a Western uniform, there's no doubt we would have aroused immediate suspicion in any crowded area. But by going into hiding, we would be denied any opportunity to search Ito. If left unchecked, my father could turn this city into a den of nightmares. Just then, hey! Ibuki! We caught the sudden notice of a youthful man staring at us from the other side of the road. Oh no! I felt my stomach drop, fearing the possibility that he could report us to the Imperial Army. I love that they put him in a bunch of different paths randomly. Just as I prepared for Sanosuke to tell me to run. Are you Harada? Sanosuke jumped, slowly turning his head to look over his shoulder at the man. His eyes blinked and shut twice in astonishment. Wow! I was wondering who the hell you were. Ryunosuke, you've been alive this whole time? Yes, sir, in the flesh. Wait, if we stick around here for too long, the Imperials might arrest us. So let's head to my house so we can talk. I had absolutely no idea who this man was. The warmth in their conversation gave me the impression that the two were friends, but were we in any position to trust someone living in Ito at this time? I gulped anxiously, but Sanosuke rested his hand firmly on my shoulder. Let's go. Everything will be all right. We can trust him. We snuck quietly through the narrow Ito alleyways with the young man as he led us back to his home. From what Sanosuke told me later, his name was Ibuki. He was an old friend of Sanosuke's and the rest of the Shinsengumi from back in their humble beginnings. Gee, never thought I'd see you back in Ito. From what I was told, the rest of the Shinsengumi men went north weeks ago. Sanosuke momentarily flicked his eyes at me before responding to Ibuki. Yeah, I've got my reasons. But damn, it's good to see you too. I never took you for the artist type, but you sure are quite the talented individual. Sanosuke glanced at the walls in the back of the room, which were neatly arranged with paintings next to Ibuki's palette and paint supplies. Besides the beautiful works on display were Ibuki's rough charcoal images scattered on the floor. Really? He's the, like, you know, or were you not around maybe when they were, well, when they found Soma? Like, remember, and he had this sketch, and they're like, where did you get this? And it's like, he took it from Ibuki, remember? Like, yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'm still just an apprentice, though. I can barely make ends meet nowadays. Yeah, but you're still making a living out of it. And that alone is amazing to me. There's no way I could have done any of this by myself, but I noticed Ibuki's cheeks become a tad rosy. Just then, is his life? The door behind us creaked as it slid open, and someone stepped silently into the room. Oh, look, she's as giant-eyed derpy as we are! Why do they make all the girls, except for fucking Kimigiku, have these giant saucer eyes that make them look like... You know what it looks like? It looks like when you're playing toys when you're a kid, and you have, like, fucking, like, Weeble Wobbles, but you're playing with Barbies, too. Like, Barbies, Weeble Wobbles. That's what it fucking looks like. It looks like you're just playing with a bunch of random toys that don't fit. So, like, you know, it's just, like, awkward and weird, and you're like, whatever, it's fine. You're like, it's not. It's not. Barbie cannot marry a Weeble Wobble. It's fucking weird, but that's what it looks like, you know? I'm just picturing the fucking Weeble Wobbles now. If you don't know what Weeble Wobbles are, I feel sorry for you. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Those should still be a thing. Why aren't those still a thing? Anyway. I thought they came back a while ago, but anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, they make them awkward. Also, her head is like twice the size of his. Like, it's just weird. But they make every woman look goofy like this, except Kimigiku. And then it's no wonder why we're like, my God, she's gorgeous. Yeah, because her eyes are normal size and she's proportioned like them. She looks like she belongs. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus. Anyway. My sincerest apologies for not coming to greet you sooner. I've brought all of you some tea. A young woman, whom I assumed to be around the same age as myself, entered the room with a tray of tea. Her hairstyle was so feminine and elegant. As she took her seat beside Ibuki, the two of them held hands intimately. There was the hint of a loving spark between them, a sort of playful exuberance in their demeanor that led me to believe that they were something of an item. Well, they're holding hands, so no. Oh, I was wondering who it was that came in. You're one of the Maiko from Shimabara. Maiko from Shimabara. A term for Geiki apprentices in the red light district of Kyoto, also known as Shimabara. Oh, spoiler. Hashtag spoiler. Sorry. If you don't want to listen, mute this until we skip to the next thing. But, it's only for the anime. It's only for the prequel season of the anime. But that's so cute, because he is in love with her. So he actually, like, took her away and married her. That's so cute! Oh, he was, like, totally in love with her in the anime. And they never show what happens. It's just, like, he just has this thing for her. That's so cute! Oh! Anyway. Okay, spoiler is over in case you muted for some reason. You shouldn't have. It was great. And it's literally just for the anime, so whatever. Kosuzu? Okay. Your name was Kosuzu or something, wasn't it? Kosuzu. Kosuzu, a former Geiki apprentice from Shimabara. She was frequently under the employ of the Shinsengumi while they were in Edo. Damn. Though now she is the wife of Ryunosuke Ibuki. Kosuzu was a stage name. Oh, you remembered me? How flattering of you. I appreciate your patronage. Kosuzu was my stage name while I lived in Shimabara. My real name is Shizu. Shizu, Kosuzu's real name. Shizu bowed politely towards Sanosuke before turning to face me. Oh, and who might this be? My name is Yukimura. Very nice to meet you. She greeted me with an odd look as I rushed to introduce myself. Please correct me if I'm mistaken, but you are a woman, yes? Oh, yes. I regret to say that I cannot disclose my reasons for doing so, but this is a disguise. What? Seriously? Did you really not notice, Ryunosuke? Come to think of it, her hips and torso are a little too thin to be a man's. Hey, I could just be delicate. Okay? Men can be delicate snowflakes like me, or, women can be hippopotamuses like me. Whatever. Great. I'm a potato. Shut up. But she styled her hair like a man's, and she's wearing men's clothing, so it's an honest mistake. Wow, you're just not very... You know what? That's cute. I actually am okay with you not noticing I'm a woman, because that just shows how much you love your lady friend here. You love your wife so much that you don't even recognize another woman when she's right in front of you. That's so cute. Oh, you're precious. Nice to see you haven't changed much, you dope. Sanosuke patted Ibuki on the back jokingly as the latter pouted in genuine confusion. Could you imagine if he's like, if fucking Harada had held my hand, he would have been like, what the? Oh! That explains it. I just love that. I love that she's dressed like a guy, so we're like holding hands and shit. And there's people like, wait, what? And like, oh my God, they're looking at us because we're holding hands. They're looking at you because you're holding hands and you're two dudes in their mind. That's what it is. They're like, wait, what? I'm just saying, like, there are places right now where two dudes holding hands is strange to people, even though it shouldn't be. Like, you could be just pals with someone and you should be able to hug your man friends and hold their hands. You should be able to do anything like that whether you're gay or not. But I'm just saying, back in the day, it was probably a little bit harder for two dudes to walk down the street holding hands without people being like, the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. Unless it was like, there were certain periods in like history where everybody was really gay. More so than we are now. I'm just saying. Coffee! It's really funny, though, that the chicks are the only ones that notice. The women's like, you're a girl, though. Yeah. And guys are like, what? Wow, you guys are oblivious. Fucking oblivious. See? Because my boobs are strapped down. You don't even notice. That's all you notice. Anyway. So, if you're here alone with Harada, then that must mean the two of you are... Oh, let's not be weird about it. We've already had sex with him, so yes. I was uncertain of how to respond, and being anxious, I began to fidget timidly in my cushion on the tatami. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Harada doesn't strike me as the type of man who dates every woman he meets. Well, it appeared that the subtext of Mai and Sanosuke's relationship was blaringly obvious to them. Sanosuke, however, seemed completely unfazed by their suggestion. Okay, again, it's like we're having this conversation in the beginning where they're like, oh my god, are you two dating? And I'm like, oh my god, but I love him and I don't know how to say this. And he's like, ha, yeah, sure. And he's unfazed by it because he is totally confident in our relationship. But it's like, we've had sex with him. You should be confident in your relationship and be like, yeah, I hit that shit. Like, you know what I mean? I get it. It's a little like, you're like, oh, yeah, well, private business. But Spacey, you should be like, yes, this is my man. Woo! Seriously, he's a pretty one, so be happy about it. Well, pretty much, yeah. I just hate how every game the girl's always, this is awkward, this is strange, this is, oh my god. It's cute at first, like, I get it, like, in the beginning you're like, oh my god, he's actually in love with me, and there's got to be some doubt to, like, you know, spurn the plot along. But, like, at a certain point, like, now, it's like, stop being embarrassed by everything. Like, I understand the first time he kisses you or something, oh my god, it's embarrassing, but, like, let's stop being overly derpy innocent. Let's stop. Let's be real women here, okay? I get it. She was all virginal and innocent and never been kissed before. I get it. That's fine. Girl, there is no point in being embarrassed with the shit that you've already done. You're like, well, yes. Yes, we are together. Yes, we are. Not, it's so embarrassing. Okay, stop. Stop. Just stop. Stop now. Stop. Hashtag stop. Anyway, Sanosuke perked into a proud grin. Look, he loves us so much. He's like, I'm so proud of my potato. Hearing him answer their questions so eagerly only served to make me more embarrassed. Ugh. I dropped my eyes to the floor out of nervousness. I mean, I kind of get that a little bit, so I shouldn't her too much. But, like, if some guy's like, yeah, she's awesome and great, and you're like, oh my god, that makes me a little embarrassed, because, like, unless you're super, like, you're overly confident, like, yeah, fucking awesome. I mean, like, I think I'm fucking awesome, but if a guy was like, yeah, she's fucking awesome, I'd be like, oh, a little embarrassed, but it's cute. You know what I mean? But, like, I feel like they're not like, oh my god, it's a little embarrassing, but I love it. It's more like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Oh, like, they're ashamed of it. Like, I don't know. It's too much. It's too much. I understand a little embarrassed, but they always get way too fucking embarrassed and awkward, and it's not cute at a certain point. Stops being cute. Like, here, it's not cute anymore. Stop it. They think it's cute, but it's like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I dropped my eyes to the floor out of nervousness. Man, tough break for you then, isn't it? Huh? What do you mean by that? Isn't being with a man like Harada the biggest pain in the ass? He's reckless, short-tempered, and if something doesn't sit well with him, he'll poke at you until he gets his way. Harada's always been kind to women, hasn't he, Yukimura? I think Harada is actually the one when Ibuki does something stupid and, like, hurts this girl's feelings. In the anime, he, like, you're gonna fucking apologize to her, motherfucker! I'm pretty fucking sure he's the one that does it. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who's seen it. Seriously. You have to watch that prequel. It's the 3rd season, but it's the prequel. You have to watch it. It's the best one. Just see all of our boys being our boys. It's great. Anyway. I'm used to it. Oh, that's so wrong. I was unsure whether or not I could speak with candor about Mai and Sanosuke's relationship to people whom I'd just been introduced, but yes, he's quite the gentleman. It wasn't difficult to say how I honestly felt. He knows how to treat women respectfully, but I can only imagine how much he spoils Yukimura. Huh? Oh, yet again I was confronted with a social quagmire. If I had answered yes, then I was worried that it would seem too enthusiastic about him, almost to the extent that I would seem conceited. Luckily for me, I suppose, Sanosuke was quick to pounce on an opportunity to answer for me. Look at his face. He's like, you love me. I do love you. I've told you this. Well, of course I spoil her. She's special. And someday, I'm gonna marry her. Aww. I jumped in my cushion with glee. Oh. It's like every girl wants to hear that. Someday I'm gonna marry you. Oh. If you're handsome and like he is. Well, okay. If we love you like we love him. Like, doesn't matter if you're a potato. If we're in love with you, then when you say that, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're hot. If you're like, someday I'm going to marry her. Whoa, creep, back it up. We just met. Ooh, nah. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, we love him and adore him. So yes. Ah! I wanted so badly to express some words of gratitude, but I had been so taken aback that nothing came out. My, look how happy the two of you look. He's getting soft on us now. I know. Oh, the two of them took great amusement from poking fun at us, but I suppose it was something to get used to. They're happy for you. Stop. They're not poking fun at you. They're being adorable. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, Sonosuke slurped the rest of his tea and placed his cup down. As he let out a heavy sigh, the mood in the room changed. He spoke with a low, hushed tone. So, what's the situation in Edo like? It's just as you saw. Ever since Edo Castle was given to the Imperials, I paraded all around town, noses in the air. And if they suspect you for any reason, and it doesn't matter what or why, they'll arrest you and take you in for questioning. Is there no one in Edo with the will to fight? Hasn't anyone tried to do something yet? Well, not everyone was too happy with the Shogunate's decision to hand Edo Castle over to the Imperials. One group, called the Shogi Company, has got themselves locked up at the Kanai Temple in Ueno. Who went to the show? Anyway, the Imperial army seems stumped, and they got no idea what to do with them. Depending on how things play out, a civil war might erupt in Edo. I'm worried the whole city will burn down. I shuddered to think. That sounded so bad. Like, I know. It's supposed to be like, oh my god, but I was like, sounded so half-assed. Sorry. I shuddered to think what the implications for a civil war could mean for Edo and all of its citizens. Surely, I knew, Father would be at its epicenter. My knees soon buckled. I was struck with a horrifying vision. The streets littered with corpses, which were feasted upon by legions of ravenous furies. I couldn't help but glance at Sonosuke with a concerned expression. He returned the gesture, furrowing his brow as he gazed deeply into my eyes. Hey, what's the matter? Don't tell me you guys are thinking of heading to Ueno. Of course we are. To tell you the truth, that's actually why we've returned to Edo. Sonosuke's response was deadpan, and Ibuki shifted uncomfortably in his seat. You must reconsider. The Shogi Company alone has got over 100 men at their disposal in Ueno. And you know the Imperials have got way more than that. What good can the two of you do against them? Well, we're not looking to pick any fights we can't end. At least of all with the Imperial Army. We got a score to settle with someone else. Someone else? Ibuki was befuddled, scratching his head dubiously. Sonosuke hadn't seemed interested in cluing him in, however, and declined to answer Ibuki's questions, but Ibuki was there. He knows about Furies. Shizu picked up on this awkward tension and... Hey, Ryunosuke, why don't you let the two of them get some rest? They've just arrived in Edo, and I'm sure they're utterly exhausted from the trip they've had. Huh? Well, I guess you're right. Thank you for your hospitality. Spacey, go on and get some sleep, would you? I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't incredibly curious as to what Sonosuke and Ibuki were going to discuss if I went to bed, but considering the two of them were longtime friends, I was sure there were plenty of stories to exchange. All right then, I shall prepare for bed. Right this way. The place is actually much smaller than it looks. I nodded politely to Shizu before bowing to the two men as Shizu and I exited the room. She escorted me to their modest guest quarters, and because of our trip from Utsunomiya included many nights spent camped out in the wilderness, as soon as I rested my head on my pillow, I dozed off immediately. It was unclear to me how much time had passed, but I woke up in the middle of the night and hadn't seen Sonosuke anywhere next to me on the futon. My first inclination was that he had been engrossed in conversation with Ibuki still. I sat up trying to focus my hearing for any sound of their voices, but I couldn't hear a thing. Out of concern, I dragged myself out of the futon and quietly tiptoed into the hallway. I poked my head around, seeing Shizu in the next room doing some stitching on a piece of fine cloth. Oh, Yukimura! Have you gotten up so soon? Yes, I couldn't get back to sleep. Hey, I don't happen to see Sanosuke or Ibuki around anywhere around. Do you know where they went? Oh, the two of them said they were going to step outside for a conversation. Outside? Did Sanosuke actually leave in his Western uniform? What if a group of Imperial soldiers were to spot them? I think I'm gonna go check up on them. I bowed curtly and sprinted out of their home. I flicked my eyes back and forth until I spotted the two of them talking just outside of the house. Like I had suspected, they were absorbed by their conversation, and Ibuki was gesticulating wildly. Seemed neither of them had noticed I was present. I'd be like, okay, they're fine, and go back in. So, I understand why the two of you have to go to Ueno. I should tell you, though, it surprised me to see that you weren't with Nagakura or Heisuke. I guess it means you finally learned how to work on your own 2 feet, huh? I suppose you could call it that. Aren't you worried about them? I know the three of you guys were pretty close. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss them, but that, that's life. All of us have got our own stuff to deal with now, so it's only natural that we gotta take care of it by ourselves. And you too, right, Ryunosuke? Ibuki agreed silently, nodding his head as he tilted his gaze downwards at his sandals. After a moment, Ibuki murmured under his breath. So, you think you got any shot of winning? If what you said is true, then the Imperial Army's got furies that are 10 times worse than anything the Shinsengumi had, right? At this point, I'm not concerned with whether or not we'll survive. She's just not the kind of lady who'll ignore her father's sadistic experiments. As I was eavesdropping, I picked up that the she Sanosuke mentioned was, in fact, me, and my heart skipped a beat in my chest. Sanosuke went on confidently, and Ibuki listened intently while stroking his chin. Whatever she wants is what I want. There's really nothing else to it. If you ask my younger self what she thought, she would have felt utterly unworthy to Sanosuke's words of praise, guilty to think that someone valued her feelings enough to dedicate his life to her. But if you were to ask the me of the present day, I would have answered with nothing but confessions of adoration and unwavering love. I want nothing more than to return the favor, as there was no one else in the world I cherished more. The sentiment intensified with each passing moment. I think if you were in the same position as me, and then you'd have the same answer. For a while, Ibuki kept his eyes fixed upon the floor, refusing to react in any way to Sanosuke's explanation. Sanosuke took the initiative by breaking the silence. Hey, it's getting chilly out here. Why don't we head inside? He muttered quietly, spinning around to approach the house entrance when I darted back inside through the front door, rushing back to get into the futon before he did. Thank you, Sanosuke. As long as the two of us are together, then I believe that we can conquer whatever challenges we face.
This is a really long chapter. I'm really surprised.
The next night, Ibuki and Shizu saw us off. We were able to recuperate our strength, and together we bid our two gracious hosts farewell before making our way for Ueno.
I mean, we still have to battle my father. We have already had our last thing, but then we still have, I can't believe it's like 45 minutes. Not really, but a little bit. Almost.
Thanks so much for everything, you two.
Oh, that was him. I thought it was me. Thanks for everything you do. I read that in me voice.
Yes, indeed. We're so appreciative of everything. We'll send you a token of our thanks soon. It was our pleasure. And please feel free to visit us soon. Shizu smiled warmly at us, but Izuki... It's supposed to be Ibuki. I was like, Izuki? Ibuki gazed wistfully off to the side. Given how recently they had reunited, it was understandable to think Ibuki was reluctant to send his friend off so soon, especially to Ueno. Come on, Ryunosuke. Say goodbye.
It's fine. We said everything we needed to last night.
Well, talking all night doesn't mean you can't extend common courtesy to them. Come on, it's important. Ibuki grimaced in discomfort, but after Shizu's prodding, he timidly approached Sanosuke. Hug.
I know this might be a little boorish of me to say, especially since you've already made up your mind, but...
Ibuki cut his sentence short, his voice trailing off towards the end. He began taking deep breaths, hoping to muster the courage to speak as his fist trembled at his waist. At long last, he spoke his piece.
Don't die on me, Harada. You hear me?
Sanosuke's eyes widened incredulously. At first, he simply opened his mouth without saying a word, but after a moment...
Oh! Oh, he's so adorable. This could be our NCG because it doesn't have Dirt Face in it. Even though it's got Ibuki in it, but it's fine. You got it. There's no way I'm leaving behind the woman I love.
Sanosuke grabbed a fistful of Ibuki's hair, rustling it playfully as he delivered his assuring words. He just does that to everybody. Ibuki, however, was in no mood to joke. His lips were tightly pursed into a line, and it still seemed as though he was restraining himself from speaking his mind. Sanosuke chose not to press the matter. Instead, he stepped closer to Ibuki, patting his old friend on the shoulder. The world's gotta be saved, and there's only one way for us to do it. We gotta fight. This way, the future's in our hands. No chance in hell are we gonna die. This seemed to put Ibuki at ease, even if just a tad. I see. A smile formed in his lips out of relief. Hey, Harada. Hmm? What is it? You know, if it weren't for you, I don't know if I'd be standing here like I am today. I don't think I would have been here with Shizu either. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Ibuki's endearing sentiment coaxed a small chuckle from out of Sanosuke. Whoopsie. I bumped my thing by accident. There's no way I can take all the credit for that. All I did was give you a little push. You're the one who actually made the first step and kept going. Although none of us seemed too keen on parting, we bid our final farewell to Ibuki and Shizu, and Sanosuke and I departed for Ueno. After our two friends were out of earshot, Sanosuke leaned over to whisper discreetly in my ear. Ryunosuke, that guy's done a total 180 since his days back with the Shinsengumi. He always acted like he had a stick up his ass, but never had the balls to follow through with things. As Sanosuke began catching up on his reflections, a small smile curled his lips. I guess finding a woman that you're ready to dedicate your entire life towards really changes a man, doesn't it? Sanosuke extended his coarse hand towards me, reaching for my hand as he clasped it tightly. With a newfound resolve, I grasped his hand in return. I don't think men should take all the credit for changing when it comes to meeting the person you love, though. Sanosuke pointed his eyes towards me. I momentarily looked back at him, smirking as I continued with my point. Since the moment you told me you loved me, Sanosuke, my heart has been made up. My heart could rest assured that no threat of pain could deter me as long as he and I were together. No matter what obstacles we may encounter, I refuse to let fear dictate my actions. Women are the real warriors. Yeah, I mean, we have to give birth, Jesus, and fight off advances from perverts. Sanosuke tightened his grip on my hand. Let's not even talk about cramps. As our fingers wove together in our hands, I could feel his sincerity, proving to me that he would stick beside me without any shred of doubt. This time, I knew that nothing could tear us apart, and we basked in the moonlight together. This seriously sounds like the end of the chapter, but we gotta go off and fight our dad. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Are we gonna watch? Is this like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like a perfect end to the chapter. Like, la la la, off into the sunset. But it's like, well, we still have to do this battle scene at the end. Because, like, what the fuck? Sanosuke continued hastily down the mountainous path, heading in the direction of Ueno, but our arrival could not have been more poorly timed. As Ibuki had informed us, the Shogi company confined themselves within Kanai Temple in Ueno, fortifying their territory to protect from invasion. The Imperial Army, however, completely surrounded the premises, stationing rows of soldiers and small encampments around the perimeter of Mount Ueno. Although it seemed as though the Shogi company had resisted the Imperial Army well enough, by the time of our arrival, victory had fallen into the hands of the Imperials. His part's longer than I thought it would be. Sanosuke and I hid behind a thick wall of trees beside the opening of the trail leading to Mount Ueno. Sanosuke, do you really think my father will pass through this route? I think so. There aren't too many other trails that would fit an entire army of Furies. I don't anticipate him trying to move his Fury army out in the open. Which means they can only move around at night. If I had to bet, it'll be any minute now, since I doubt any of the Shogi Company corpses rot before it's too late. Give it a minute. I reached my hand down towards my waist, wrapping my fingers around the hilt of my kodachi anxiously. I know, I'm anxious too. Would father come, just as Sanosuke had said? And would I truly be able to thwart father? Sanosuke rested his hand upon my shoulders. Without saying anything, he picked up on my nervousness, offering me a small gesture to comfort me. It was enough, and my heart settled into a manageable pace in my chest. I had to remember something. I wasn't alone. In fact, the man I loved most was sitting here in the darkness beside me. Just as the thought crossed my mind, a gang of footsteps echoed in the distance. It wasn't only a dozen or even 2 dozen feet. As they marched closer to us, I could have sworn they were numbered in the hundreds, perhaps more. It was inconceivable to think that this many soldiers could have mobilized at such a late hour, doubly so considering the battlefield had been long since vacated, which could only mean... I poked my head from behind the trees to get a closer glimpse at whom the footsteps had belonged. I couldn't help but gulp at what I'd seen. Hundreds of crimson eyes peeking through the darkness. Tufts of white hair dotted the heads of every soldier marching in formation, like apparitions floating in the black of night. At the head of the formation was... Father. My kind, jovial father who raised me as a single parent ever since I was a young girl. I had to set my feelings aside. This mission could cost me my life, and I was ready for the consequences. It's kind of scary that, like, how is Harada gonna beat them all? I mean, you just gotta lop off, like, Kodo's head, but, like, there's 100 Furies. Anyway, I tightened my grip around my Kodachi, ready to leap out at him at any moment. Shinosuke stuck his arm in front of me. No, don't. Not yet. There are way too many Furies for either of us. But Shinosuke was right. They outnumbered us 100 to 1, and making ourselves known prematurely could have spelled disaster for us. Even with the reach of Shinosuke's spear, there was no way for us to challenge them all at once. But if we missed this opportunity to strike, then we might lose sight of where Father was heading. I panicked to myself as I wondered what to do when... I found myself startled by the sudden crack of gunfire. Shiranui? Though through partially covered eyes, I watched a speeding bullet rip through the chest of a marching Fury as he toppled over and fell to the ground. Could it be? Yo, Kodo! I've been waiting for you to show your face here. Shiranui called out to Father, and smoke floated from out of the barrel of the pistol in his hand. My lord Shiranui. Or I suppose I no longer have to refer to you as Lord anymore, do I? By the way, I never got the chance to thank you for playing with my precious children weeks ago. Thanks to your valiant effort, I've discovered so many ways to improve them. Perhaps there's some use for demons after all. Father's facetious statement made Shiranui scoff. You bastard! Now you even got the Choshu involved. If you wanted to waste your time with those Furies experiments on your own time, be my guest. But this has gone far enough. I can no longer watch idly as you corrupt this country and its people. I have no idea what you could be talking about. I haven't intended on corrupting anyone. I can't do their voices, it hurts. Don't play coy. You've orchestrated this whole thing. The ones leading the charge today were good men. Choshu men. Like I told you, I haven't corrupted anyone. They came of their own volition, after witnessing the results of my experiments themselves. It was the Choshu who approached me to improve the serum. What did you just say? Ahem. With Edo Castle fallen, your Lord Yoshinobu Tokugawa's done. All the momentum is with the Imperial Army. Japan must no longer be encumbered with petty squabbles. After toppling the shogunate, there are now bigger issues that we must collectively address. Great Britain, France, the United States, hey, you leave us out of this, and Russia, who command the largest landmass in the world. These are the new titans of industry. They are forging military technology that will leave us in the dust. Well... yeah, that's true. Takasugi mentioned something about travels to Shanghai. How the Westerners treated men from China like worthless dogs groveling at their feet. Shanghai, the sprawling waterfront port located in central China, used as a trade destination during the Opium War between Great Britain and China. China, a gigantic mainland country to the east of Japan that is an expansive melting pot for trade, industrial development, and cultural ideas. He was convinced that the Japanese would suffer the same fate in due time. According to him, our only solution was implementing a period of social upheaval. This country needed to be reborn, whether it was ready to do so or not. Right? It's only natural for the Choshu domain to seek solutions to strengthen its people and our country. As it stands, we have one choice: to build an army and break through the threshold of our scientific limitations and conquer the world while we still can. The fate of the world is in the balance. If we want to preserve our country's independence, then we must strike first. Building this army is our key. I mean, this is a really long motherfucking chapter. So that's it.
That's why you've been experimenting with the Furies. Precisely. Furies are not bound to the same restrictions as humans. They experience no fear. Without being struck on the heart, they're invincible.
Or chopping off their heads.
With the right guidance, our army will march over the scorched earth, destroying any who oppose us.
Shinanui scowled irritably, seemingly incapable of tolerating my father's monologue for much longer.
To hell with that.
At last, Shiranui lashed out and interrupted father.
I'm no stranger to your foolish idea. Takasugi talked about the same thing, building an army and uniting the country to take on the West. Believe me. But this is something else. He would be the first one out on the battlefield, dragging his body through the mud until his dying breath. But he knew his limits, and he died in bed coughing up his own blood. A sincere and mortal end. He was fragile, just a sack of flesh and bone. He was a representation of everything I hate.
Shiranui was slowly losing his composure, shaking violently as he barked at father. An internal dilemma raged inside of Shiranui. At one end, Shiranui harbored a deep hatred for humanity and its people. At the other end, he still hadn't properly mourned the death of his friend.
There's no way you would have ever condoned this sick act against your own people. Ah, it appears that we're beyond the point of debate. How tragic, but unavoidable, I suppose.
Father snapped his fingers before screaming a command at the Furies lurking behind him.
My Furies, feast upon that demon's blood to your heart's content.
No sooner than when the words left father's mouth, I watched the rows of crimson eyes glow with enthusiasm as they all focused on Shiranui.
What the?
Before Shiranui had any chance to react, Fury. Doing his voice hurts and makes me yawn. I don't know. The Furies surrounded him and blocked any path to escape. They formed a ring around him like a pack of lionesses encircling their hunt, readying themselves to pounce at any moment.
Over here!
Sanosuke leapt from behind our hiding place. He twirled his spear overhead with both hands, and as he swung it downwards, it connected with the skull of a nearby Fury, cracking open its forehead.
Gah!
Because of the Fury's languid movement, Sanosuke was able to thrash them blindly with wild swings.
It's you! I'm here to save the day, Shiranui. I didn't mean to get involved, but that old man's senile rant was starting to piss me off. You idiot! I never asked for your help. Stay out of this. Hell no. Respect is earned on the battlefield, and it's time that the two of us let our prowess speak for itself. Both of us have a responsibility to see that his crimes against humanity are put to an end.
Sanosuke dug his feet into the ground as he got into a fighting stance, and he jabbed his spear into the crowd. Its sharp point sliced through the thigh of its target.
Kya!
A splash of blood cascaded into the air, followed by the chilling sound of a desperate shriek soon after. Here's the thing, so then the Fury, and then they're like, blood, and then they're all going to start feasting on their friends. So, I mean, just gotta make some of them bleed. It was a gruesome scene as Sanosuke nimbly dismembered the limbs of his opponents, peeling sinews from bone with the flick of his spear. Ugh. Shiranui's eyes widened at the sight.
Damn you, Harada. For a human, you think you're hot shit.
He's smiling, though. You know we're hot shit.
It reminds me of Takasugi.
Shiranui rattled off gunfire at the pack of incoming Furies. He aimed his bullet towards each of their foreheads, which blew their brain cavities open. Ugh. Just then, I witnessed depravity beyond comprehension. One of the Furies wandered away from the pack.
Blood. Blood. Blood.
The Fury began stabbing the corpses of his fallen comrades with impunity before putting his mouth against their wounds, lapping up their blood eagerly.
What the hell? They're drinking the blood of their own men! Even the Shinsengumi Furies weren't that deranged.
I struggled to believe that, at one point, these were ordinary men. Men with lives, families, futures. But now...
Blood. There's blood.
Damn. These Furies were glossy-eyed and docile, moving like mindless beasts in search of their next meal. As Sanosuke and Shiranui continued subduing them, the Furies only became more rabid as the stench of blood thickened in the air. It's easier to kill them if they're feasting as opposed to trying to attack you. As I gazed in horror, the one responsible for this morbid display called out to me,
Spacey, you're out there, aren't you, child? Come out and face me.
Father appeared in front of me, smiling warmly as he beckoned me to emerge. I timidly stepped out of my hiding place to reveal myself to him. Father, why are you doing this?
The future of our country is being threatened by...
Gai?
I'm ensuring the long-term survival of our people.
Gai. A pejorative term referring to foreign countries or visitors.
Goddamn dirty foreigners. Aren't you impressed? As long as we have our army, Japan is safe. Imperial army will cower before us. No longer will we be subject to any of their dictates. The fate of the country rests in my hands.
I watched Father's eyes twinkle with excitement as he rubbed his hands together, but it was beyond me to ever think that Furies were capable of becoming a solution to our country's woes, as opposed to becoming its biggest problem. Do you seriously believe any of this, Father? They were normal men, weren't they? All of them had lives ahead of them. Friends, loved ones, people who cared about them. Father let out a merry laugh, like he and I were having a friendly conversation over a cup of tea.
Those things are worthless. We must detach ourselves from these earthly totems if we have any desire of bettering our people.
Although his face and expression were familiar, his message was completely foreign to me, and I found myself repulsed every time he spoke. This was no longer the Father I used to know, and even referring to him as Father felt criminal. As his daughter, I had no other choice. It was my duty to undo the evil he was summoning. I tightly gripped the hilt of my kodachi, resting on my hip, marching in Father's direction with my back straightened. Damn, is she gonna kill her dad? I never thought I'd ever use this kodachi, nor had I ever expected to use it in order to take someone's life. But this is my duty. So normally she uses it to draw her own blood to feed her boyfriend, but since she doesn't have to do that in Harada's route, it's like, now she's gonna kill her dad? As I got within an arm's reach of Father, I slowly slinked the blade out from out of its scabbard. Then... my eyes shut tightly and I drove the kodachi into the side of his ribcage. Damn, girl! I didn't think she'd gonna do that. I heard the squish of Father's flesh as I twisted the blade in his abdomen. It was an unsettling sensation. Because the feeling of holding the kodachi in his body irked me, I quickly yanked it back out. As I opened my eyes, I jumped back in fright. What? It was the most distressing sight. I knew, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that my kodachi was driven into his flesh. Yet he had neither a scratch nor a drop of blood on him. My kodachi, however, was stained with a thick film of scarlet blood, because he took the water of life, so... A little tear appeared on the side of Father's kimono as well. A little tear, sorry. But for some mysterious reason, his flesh had sealed. Oh no. Father barked with smug laughter.
Amazing, isn't it? The water of life in its purest form is truly a marvel to behold. My flesh not only recovers at an unprecedented speed, but I feel no pain. Your blade barely scratched me.
He continued to laugh maniacally to himself, and helplessness began to sink in. Fuck, you didn't get his heart. The furies around us continued closing in, making me feel so small and pathetic. No, Father! I could barely squeak out a sentence. You bastard! You've drunk your own serum?
Indeed, as long as I possess this power, I am unstoppable.
Not with the spirit of the heart.
With the water of life, no one can stand in my way. This country belongs to me. I will force the world to its knees with my army of furies. We'll set fire to all who oppose us. Our names will be immortalized in history.
This part's really long. Father! Who was this man? I gently flicked my kodachi, swatting off some of the blood from it, and got into an offensive stance. Damn, I can't believe she's actually doing something for once. From behind me came Sanosuke, who patted my shoulder and gestured me to stay still. Don't. You're not a murderer. But... Without another word, he stepped in front of me and pointed his spear in Father's direction. He kept his back facing me as he spoke. Let me handle killing your father. You can yell at me all you want later. Close your eyes, kid. Sanosuke murmured his advice to me quietly. There was no way I couldn't see this for myself. He and I were committed to one another. It meant our lives were inseparable, and I couldn't bear to have the man I loved shoulder the burden of killing my father as I watched from the sidelines. I was like, the father, wait.
What does this pesky human think he'll be able to do against me? One bullet and you'll be on the floor before you even blink.
Father twiddled his fingers mischievously, cackling at Sanosuke with the face of a true demon. Then he slipped his hand into his pocket. Sanosuke, watch out! Father pulled a fistful of medical scalpels from out of his pocket and threw them at Sanosuke, as one would a kunai.
Gah!
Sanosuke deflected 3 speeding scalpels by spinning his spear reflexively.
Oh-ho! Not bad for a human. But how will you fare against this?
Father arranged 4 scalpels in each of his hands, in the shape of a fan. He flashed a malicious grin and flung all 8 of the knives toward Sanosuke. 4 of them bounced off Sanosuke's spear as he swiftly parried the incoming blades, but... Ow.
Gah!
One of them pierced through the flesh of his right hand, with which he was using to carry his spear. Another landed on his left bicep, and Sanosuke bit his lip as he grimaced in pain. I instinctively covered my eyes. If the scalpel was enough to severely injure his hand, then he wouldn't be able to wield his spear.
Ha 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 ha! Good show! Give up while the use of your head. Without the use of your hand, you won't stand a chance against me. I have to say, though, I commend your technique with a spear. What a waste it would be to let you die like this. What do you say? Care to drink the water of life? You would fit in nicely within our ranks.
Sanosuke mustered a confident smile through gritted teeth. It would take far more than Father's taunting to convince him to turn over to the dark side. But they have cookies. I told you, I have no interest in joining this freak show of yours. Besides... Sanosuke reached his left hand over to where the scalpel was stuck in his right hand. He curled his fingers gingerly around the scalpel and yanked it out, and blood trickled from the wound. Being poked with your little toys isn't enough to stop me from using my spear. Don't you ever underestimate Sanosuke Harada. Never had I seen anyone declare their resolve so fiercely. His amber eyes were ablaze with determination. It was a daring smile, akin to a swashbuckler. He kind of is wearing almost a pirate uniform. And this time, I'm coming for you. Sanosuke pointed his spear forwards with his hands, drenched in blood, and lunged forward with all of his might.
Grrrr!
Although Father gained powers from drinking the water of life, they were no substitute for actual experience on the battlefield. He lacked the reflexes to dodge Sanosuke's spear. I watched the tip of Sanosuke's spear pierce through Father's spine, coated in a dark, crimson liquid. As he pulled the spear from Father's body, a splash of blood splattered onto the floor behind Father's feet. Just as quickly as the wound was inflicted, however, it had sealed itself back up again.
It's healed. It healed immediately. Did you see? A spear driven through my body and not a scratch.
Can we kill him already? This part's really long. Nothing could deter Father's sadistic laughter, and he continued to fling scalpels at Sanosuke.
You little shit.
Father moved slightly closer to Sanosuke, who thrust his spear at Father's body relentlessly. Can you just stab him in the heart and get it over with? Not even repeated stab wounds could phase Father, and he simply grinned in response to Sanosuke's seemingly futile efforts.
Ha ha ha! What's the matter? It feels like a mosquito is buzzing in my ear, trying to bite me for my blood.
A thick layer of Father's blood was smeared over his own body, yet he continued laughing, charging at Sanosuke like nothing had happened. He became consumed by madness, losing what remained of his humanity with each step. Fatigue was beginning to set in for Sanosuke, as his swings became dull and lifeless after a period.
Oh, have you reached your limit? Too bad. If you had drunk the water of life, then you would have surely killed me by now. The human race is pathetic.
All of Sanosuke's adrenaline was disappearing, and soon his movements were sluggish, lazily swatting away at Father with sore arms. Oh no. I need to save Sanosuke.
No bother. I shall honor your corpse by feeding it to my furies. Gross.
Father grinned victoriously, pulling from his pocket another group of 8 scalpels. He cocked his hands back to aim his scalpels for Sanosuke's weakening body. The very next moment,
I was waiting for you to do that.
Sanosuke grinned, speaking in eager, low tone. I nearly shut my eyes out of horror. Father hadn't been quick enough to react, and Sanosuke's spear pierced straight into his heart.
Huh?
Father's eyes were wide and glossy. He stood frozen to the spot. The spear had punctured through him completely, and from behind him you could see the tip of the spear peeking out. Because of where it had struck him, the spear pulsed to the rhythm of Father's heartbeat. Furies are killed when you stab them in the heart, right? And since you can't last longer than the average human, I'd wager we could be here until the metal on my spear rusts over. Hurts like a bitch, doesn't it?
Gah.
Blood gushed from Father's mouth, dribbling from the side of his lips in a pathetic display. His hand fluttered in the air pitifully, and he had his regenerative powers to thank for not being able to enjoy a swift death.
Spacey.
From out of the blue, Father called out to me.
You're just going to sit there and watch your father die?
Watching this heartless monster, whom I'd used to call Father, writhe before me in pain, memories of my childhood came flooding back to me. His kind, inviting demeanor, his patience. Although somewhere along the way, he seemed to lose a part of himself, nothing could change the fact that he raised me. Please, pass peacefully. Tears began to well behind my eyes, and I clasped my hands together and prayed. I suppose there was no way to anticipate how agonizing watching him die would be. For me, it was the first time I'd ever witnessed the last embers of someone's life die out. Sanosuke suddenly thrust his spear more deeply into Father's chest. The chilling sound made my hair stand. Once more, Father coughed up a mouthful of blood. Sanosuke yanked the spear from out of Father's chest, only to immediately drive it back into the same spot with greater intensity.
Look me in the eye. I killed you. You understand me? Don't you dare guilt her into thinking this is her fault. I'm the man who killed you. From this day, you'll no longer call yourself her father. She deserves more.
Sanosuke kept his composure, even as a fresh splash of blood landed on his cheek. Once he could confirm that Father was no longer breathing, Sanosuke pulled the spear from out of where Father's heart used to beat. It was so decisive and forceful. A realization came to me inexplicably as I imagined how many other times Sanosuke may have confronted a similar situation on the battlefield in his past. It was a dark thought, one I had never considered. My face was drenched with tears. I fell to my knees on the cold earth, scraping them as they landed. It felt like something extracted my soul from my chest, leaving behind an empty shell of a person incapable of happiness. I figured we weren't going to get the last chapter. We were going to get to the end where we see the end credits, but like Jesus fucking Christ. We might have to like cut this off here. Like if there's a nice segue, because this is way too long. I told you to close your eyes, didn't I? Why the hell didn't you listen? Because speaking became difficult. My throat was enclosing, perhaps as an expression of panic. But I had to say one thing, because this was something I needed to do. I shouldn't have tasked you with this burden alone, Sanosuke. I wish we could have dealt with it together. Sanosuke tenderly wrapped his arms around me. As he pulled me into his chest, I rested my head against him, sobbing uncontrollably. Honestly, you were the last person I would have ever wanted to see me kill Kodo. Are you disgusted with me? No. I could just as easily say that I'm as responsible for killing my father as Sanosuke was. He just happened to be quicker. He comforted me, stroking my hair softly as I nestled myself against his soft, muscular chest. Okay. This is not the end of this chapter, but I have to fucking end this here. So it's just going way too long. And who knows how long this is going to go. So I'm going to stop here where it's kind of a segue, sorta, and then we'll finish this chapter in the next part. But I was not expecting this end of this chapter to be this long. So I don't know how much longer it is, but we'll probably do the good ending, and then depending on how long that is, we'll maybe start the bad endings, or do them in another part. I don't know. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.